Okay, so hi everyone. You can just let me know your experience about yesterday's session, right? And what are the issues that you are facing, right? So we'll begin with the slide, right? So what we had covered yesterday and what are the objectives for today, right? Before we do that, right? What we will do. We'll go to AWS console and start our instance. So while our instance boots up, right, we'll be discussing and whatever things we covered and what all things we'll be covering today, right? So Dharma, you are on this AWS management console. Please let me know. Dharma, please confirm. You may be speaking in mute.
No, he lost his audio connection, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, looks like some audio issue Dharma is facing. Okay. Yeah, so looks like not an issue. So here you are in EC2. Nataraj, you are there in EC2, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So in the EC2, you go to instance and then you see that your instance is running, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if Dharma is able to fix his audio issues. Dharma, looks like some issue with your microphone or something. Okay. You are in mute.
Connected. He was on mute now.
Hi, Dharma. So meanwhile, I will also start the instance.
Okay.
So I will show you what are things, how to fix issues. Dharma. Hi, Dharma.
Hello.
Yeah. So you can log into, no problem. You can log into AWS console.
Yeah, let me connect.
Yeah, so please log into the console, AWS management console. This will be the screen. Here you choose EC2. Yeah. When you choose EC2, you will have your instances visible here. Go to instance state and start it. You will have start option. Okay. So what is important here?
Can we create multiple instances?
Yeah, as many you wish.
Okay. And until it's a free, right? Whatever free options are available, right?
See, like
I mean, as a tester, I need to use only free, right?
So if you want to use only for free tier, then you have to look at how many instances you are launching and what is your limit, how many hours you have consumed, right? If it is like if you are fine to pay the additional amount, you can run as many beyond the free tier eligibility as well. So there's nothing like if you have got the account and you have chosen free tier, so that doesn't mean that you are restricted. It's the same account for everyone.
Yeah.
So there is no such difference like whether somebody opens it for whatever purpose, whatever support you have chosen, that was basic, right?
Yeah.
So support, here you see support center, right?
Yes.
So whatever support option that you have chosen, that is only different. Otherwise, account would be same for everyone. Here you have option open support case, right? All those things. Here you see view support plans. Compare AWS support plans, right? You have developer, business, enterprise, right? And those other options. Right? So you can choose whenever at any point of time you can change. You will have different benefits, support, right? Services, all those things. As of now, we are not using that. The only difference is that. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. So here you have your instance running,
Yes.
right? So Dharma, you are able to reach to this page.
Yeah, I clicked the start instance. It says pending, so maybe few
Perfect.
seconds I need to wait.
Yeah, perfect.
I think maybe okay.
Click
I
on
think now it says running.
Perfect. You just refresh.
Yeah, it says running now. Yeah.
Okay, then it will come 2 of 2 checks passed. Please confirm when it comes.
Okay.
So you will get some public IP here, right?
Yes.
And then what is important, right? In the security tab, you will have security group.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Go to that security group, Nataraj.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you are in this page, correct?
Yes. Correct.
So you have some RDP, TCP 3389 source like that mentioned, correct?
Do I need to click security group?
Yeah. When you
Okay.
click on that security group, so whatever
Yeah.
is your security group, that you have to know.
Yeah. Got it.
So see here, so many security groups, right?
Yes.
Which one is mine? So that will maybe confusing. Which one is for this particular system, right?
Yes.
So here you can also put the name,
Yes.
right? This is the one, right?
Yes.
Windows -DEC. So you can also mention like this. That will be relevant. Otherwise, you have to look at this security group name here. With this, you have to identify. Or the better thing is you are on the EC2 dashboard, right? And on the EC2 dashboard, you see that your instance is there. Once you select it, you will have security tab, right? Details tab, security tab. In the security tab, it will be mentioned. The link will be there. Simply click on the link, right? So there is no confusion.
Yeah, correct.
Right? You reach the right place because you may have thousands of security groups created, and then you might get confused which one is relevant for this particular EC2 instance, right?
Yes.
So please confirm, Dharma, you are there. Your instance has passed the checks. Dharma.
Dharma is on mute.
Yeah, Dharma. You reach this page, status check passed. Please confirm. Okay, so you are there, Nataras. You are there in this page, right?
Yes.
So you have the security thing, security group, right? Here it will show you, right? What
Correct.
things are there? That
So
inbound rule, outbound rule, right?
here we need to edit, right?
No, not here. You click this.
Yeah, click on that. Yes.
Once you click here, then you have inbound rule and outbound rule. Outbound rule, you see all traffic, all protocol, all range, right? Destination is like anywhere, right? So that is there. So that is not an issue. Everything is allowed here. Now you go to inbound rule. In inbound rule, whatever traffic can come to your EC2 instance, right? Incoming, right? Outbound is like you are going outside, right? Your request is going outside. So that is all allowed only. For you, like allowed, you will use legitimately. Now inbound rule is the most important thing where
Yes, sir. Actually,
yeah. Okay. So you are there, right, Dharma? Hello.
Seems he is having some.
Yes, looks like some issue he's facing with internet. Some internet issue, Dharma. Hello. Looks like Dharma is facing some
Yes,
internet issue. Okay. So could you try reconnecting?
yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Then.
Sorry, actually. So it says 2 by 2 checks is over now. So I think now I need to proceed whatever you said, the security part, right?
Yeah. So 2 of 2 checks
Yeah.
passed. So you go to
So what should do?
security.
Security, I am checking.
Go on. So
Yeah.
click on the security
Yeah,
group
security,
name.
yes.
Now you'll come here. In this.
Yes.
Here you will have inbound, outbound. Inbound is something which is
Yes,
the
yes, I can
traffic.
see.
Yeah, incoming traffic, right? So
Yes.
here you
Yes.
have RDP, TCP 3389, and you see this
Yeah.
IP address. So I was telling you, this is the public IP of your machine only. Okay. So this is the public IP given by
Okay.
ISP.
Okay.
This is the IP with which you identity you are going outside. Okay. So this is something given to you by your ISP only. Now this might change when
Yes.
you are trying to connect to your instance. If this is not the same, then there will be issue. So in edit inbound rule, Nataraj is facing issues. So click on edit inbound rule, Nataraj.
Yes.
When you click on edit inbound rule, so you have RDP, TCP like this. So
yes.
just remove whatever is there here.
His source is custom. It's my IP, right? Yeah.
No, just remove that, cross it, and then again you just choose my IP.
Okay.
See, it is coming same or different.
Same.
Now you try to click on save rules. What does it say? For me, it is saying you have not made any changes. For you, does it say like that?
Inbound security groups rules successfully modified on security.
See. So if you got some different message, that means your IP had changed.
Okay.
Understood? For me, it says you have not made any changes. Means whatever it was, let's see, I deleted. Again, I chose my IP. It says you have not made any changes. So whatever IP was there, the same IP is still there. Nothing changed for me. So for you, it changed, right? So now you just click on save rules.
Yeah, for me also. For me also.
For you, what does it say, Dharma?
Yeah, you have not made any changes like that. It says.
Good. So there is no change for you. You tried to delete it.
Hello?
And you tried my IP, right? Please confirm, Dharma.
Yeah, I deleted that and I clicked my IP and then save rules.
Yeah. So that means this thing
didn't
change for you also. Okay. So if it didn't change, right? Here you say preview changes. If you do, it will show. So it didn't change. So then there won't be any issue for your connection. Now Natras can connect. He will have no issues. Now you go to your running instance. You take the to details tab.
I did it.
I
have successfully logged in RDP machine.
Perfect. So you understood, right, how to troubleshoot?
Yes.
Good. So here is the public IP, right? So just copy the public IP, right? And then try to take the RDP, right? So I have RDP here. So I'll just give the public IP. And then I'll click on more options. I'll give the user as administrator, right? Yes. Then I'll say connect.
Sir,
so
this
asking for the
this inbound rule means
incoming. Incoming request, incoming traffic with respect to EC2. Understood? Dharma, you understood?
So incoming request to the server, right? The RDP machine, right?
Yep. You are doing RDP from your machine to EC2, right? So that will be incoming for EC2, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So now it will allow you from your IP. It will allow. So
Yeah.
kept the password. We can reset this password, right? So that we remember it. So here I'll just say paste the password, right? And I say okay. Now don't ask, say yes. So like this you are able to connect to. So please confirm, Dharma, if you are able to get the RDP.
Yeah, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So what is important? One thing is the public IP of the instance, right, that you are connecting to, and the other thing is your public IP from which you are connecting, the source and the destination.
Yeah.
That should be correct, right? So here we are, right? So now today what we will do, we will look at, no, let's look at the agenda for the day and what we discussed yesterday. See,
Yeah, I'm able to connect to the RDP. Yes.
okay, you got the remote machine, right?
Yes. Yes.
Good, perfect. So now let's know.
Sir, one thing that
Tell me,
small clarification.
tell me, please. Yeah,
So this public IPv for DNS name, right? Is it?
you can
Can we
choose
connect
anything.
with that also? I think that's only for.
You can choose any
We can choose anything, right?
anything out
Okay.
of these two.
Okay. Uh-huh.
See, this is no
Okay.
mentioned in the DNS. This
So
IP
this
is
may be for
mentioned.
browsing perspective.
No, using this only you are connecting, using getting the RDP, right? See, this
Through
is the
browser we can
public
connect it that way.
IP.
That IP.
This IP address, right, is for no connecting to your machine publicly from the internet, right? You can browse something in your machine only if you have some website running in your machine, right? You got, Dharma? Looks like little connectivity, no, breakdown for your internet. You can no try to switch your internet connection, or maybe you can check with the ISP or something. Meanwhile, looks like some your voice is breaking. You are. Am I audible to you clearly, Nataraj?
Yes. I think Dharma is not
Yeah.
internet.
Okay, so Dharma, it's like the no, it's no the IP address. I will be explaining you in detail. Okay, IP addressing I will explain you. For now, you understand that public IP is the IP of your system, right, which is accessible from the internet. Anybody can access it if you are allowing it. I can access whatever is the public IP here. I can access from here if you allow me in the security group firewall. Right, this is the name that is mentioned in the DNS against this IP address. So this is the name. See here also you will find 3690.156. That is just to keep that unique. They have mentioned like this with hyphen 3-6-90-156. So keep this unique. So this is unique record that is added in the DNS, right? With this name also you can RDP to your instance. With this name you can browse, like as you were saying, only if you have the website running in your machine. So that also demo I will be giving you. You will be hosting your website in your instance, right? So that all those things we will be doing, right? So for now, just you have got the connection to the machine, right? Already you got the machine, right? So you have this connected. Now let's recall what we have been doing yesterday, right? So we went through the introduction to cloud computing, the benefits, the benefits of the basics of data center, virtualization basics. So all those things we looked at. And then we also looked at the introduction to AWS and various deployment models, right? Various service models and how to access the AWS services. So how do we access the AWS services? What are the methods that you have learned?
We need to go to aws.amazon.com. So there we have to sign up. And
yeah, so you have learned how to access AWS services using the console, AWS management console. Right? So
yes,
you went to aws.management.com, aws.amazon.com, and then
Amazon.
from there, what you did? You
I
found all the services. You
just
signed in.
registered.
Yeah. First you registered, then you signed in.
Yeah.
Then you found the services,
Yes.
list of services there, right?
Yes. Then
Right?
yes.
So then you could access the service. So today, so then we went through some questions. Right? And then we tried some basic hands-on, right? So tried basic hands-on with some small
Creating
hands-on
buckets.
creation of some bucket and keeping some small files or something, right?
Yes.
And then we launched EC2 Windows instance that we are already connected to, correct?
Yes.
Now today we are going to install AWS CLI. So that is command line interface. Now through console you accessed, right?
Yes.
And you just created a bucket and you copied some files. Similarly, there are other methods to connect to the services. So another important method is CLI, command line interface, right? So today we will begin with installing CLI version 2, okay, on the Windows instance. So you can easily install, Dharma, there is no problem, right? You will be installing this software in the Windows instance that is there in AWS, not on your machine.
Yes.
Got it, Dharma?
The RDP machine, right?
Yeah.
RDP machine, right?
Correct. So this is like the
workaround. Okay.
Yeah, this is the workaround that we have come up with because we sometimes it's not feasible for you to install any software on the machine that you are using for training purpose, right? So not to mess up with the machine that you are having, right? What we can do is we can install, right? That's why we have the Windows machine configured there, ready it is. Now in that machine we will do this particular installation, and then we will use the commands to create the buckets, not with the console, not with the graphical interface. With the commands we will be creating the bucket. Okay, so we'll be doing hands-on.
So for S3 bucket and even for EC2 launch, we can access it through CLI command method. That's what you're saying.
That's
rather than console.
Correct. Whatever we do through console, we can also do through CLI, right? So we will be looking at how we can use the commands, right, to give the instructions, do the things on AWS, right? So for that we need to install, right, what CLI, right? So let's go to the instance that we have created. Okay, so here what we will do, we will download.
Is it in EC2 or
this one?
We need to go to RDP machine, right?
Correct. This is our Windows machine.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So in this Windows machine, we will download the software and install. Right. So for downloading, what we can do, we need to get some browser here, right?
Yes.
So we have one browser visible. Correct. This is server. We have Internet Explorer only.
Yes.
Right. So this Internet Explorer, right? If you try, what will happen? There will be some enhanced security configuration enabled. So because of that, it will not allow you, right, to easily do something. So you have some restrictions. See, you are now about to view pages and all. You say okay. Now some blocker will come. Content from website listed below is being blocked by the Internet Explorer. Enhanced security configuration.
Yeah.
Continue to prompt when website content is blocked. So the problem is here, whatever, even for google.com, it is not allowing, right?
Yes.
Say close, you try something, search AWS CLI version 2, something, it will again do the prompt and it will not allow you, right?
Okay.
So things are getting blocked because this server edition, right? So here by default a lot of security will be there. Now to get rid of this, what I will do, I'll just close this and then we will go to start, right? And you will have server manager.
Yeah. Correct.
Can you go to server manager?
Yes.
Dharma?
Yes, sir. I'll.
Yeah, please go to server manager.
Server manager. Okay.
Yeah, so this server manager will launch. Here something, some message there, just close that. So in that server manager, you will have no option for what? Local server. Okay, this is our local server. So go to local server, the second choice in the left.
Yes. Yes.
Now, just look for IE enhanced security configuration. See here. IE enhanced security configuration. There, right?
Yes.
So this IE enhanced security configuration is on, correct?
Yeah.
So we will switch it off. Click on that on. For administrator, switch it off. Click off and say okay.
Only for administrator, right?
Only for administrator, because we are already logged in as administrator, right? So
Yeah.
our purpose is just to install it, right? Anyways, we are logging in as administrator only, right?
Yes.
So just do it for administrator only.
Sir, which one? Sir, which one we need to switch off? IE enhanced security configuration, right?
Yeah, correct. So you click
It's
on
still
this
showing
on.
on in your screen.
Yeah, click. No, it will come. It will come.
Okay.
Yeah, click on. You clicked already?
Yes.
Click on.
Yeah, I checked
Dharma?
it. There are administrators. Yeah, administrators and users. There are two
Yeah.
options.
Correct. Only for administrator, you choose off.
Only for
Okay.
administrator, choose off. Okay.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
users, it's recommended. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just go to dashboard. I'll come to this local
Okay.
server. It will just refresh. See, it became off.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So see, when it comes off for you, just confirm. Just refresh the screen. Just go, click here, click here. See, it will come as off. Confirm. Or you have this no refresh local server also option. You can refresh.
Yeah, it became off now. Yeah.
Good, good. So for Nataraj, for you also, right?
Yes. Yes. I'm able to open
IE
google.com
enhanced
also.
security configuration. Okay.
Right. So good. Now done with the server manager. Nothing else required. Close it. Now you open IE. Now you see it is bit different. Here you just say google.com and then it opens, right? Protected mode is turned off on the local internet zone. So just don't show this or close this. Now here we have the Google, right? So what we want to know?
AWS CLI.
Actually, it is AWS CLI version 2.
Download.
AWS CLI version 2.msi. That is Microsoft installer, right?
Yes.
It should be AWS CLI v2.msi. Just search like this. See, you got the very first option, right?
Yes.
So click on that. What will happen? you'll get some options: installing, updating, and uninstalling the AWS CLI version 2 on Windows. Now you come down. So here you will have install or update the AWS CLI version 2 on Windows using the MSI installer. Latest version of AWS CLI. This is the link. So
Just
this
one
link.
sec. 1 second.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And
So
Dharma,
we
you?
need to go for latest one, right?
Yeah, for the latest version of the
Yes, sir,
AWS
sir,
CLI, this is the option.
yeah, we need to click that one.
Yeah, you reached to this page?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Perfect.
reached,
Perfect.
yeah.
So just click there.
Run or save.
Now you can save it. So that no, if it doesn't install in one go, you can just use it. So just save as somewhere.
Save it.
I'll just put it on desktop and I will save it. Okay, so it's running some security scan. Just click on
Scan.
download or something. Running some security scan. Right. So it will finish quickly and then you can look at you can install the same.
Can I install, sir?
Yeah, so done, right? This came, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came.
Perfect. Now you can click on run.
Run, okay.
Is there anything like click on administrator or just I can click?
You are only administrator, no?
Yes.
Nothing required. Simply click on run.
Okay.
Now you will get this particular screen.
Yeah.
Right? So it says welcome
Yeah,
to AWS command line interface version 2 setup wizard. Right? So now you say next. Now you have to agree to the license.
License. Okay.
Accept it and then say next. Now you have this window, AWS command line interface version 2. Click on that and you have the second choice, no?
Oops.
What
Sir,
happened?
I have installed everything.
Okay, good. So here you have option, no? Entire feature will be installed on local hard drive, right? Just choose that. That is only by default chosen, I think. So this is like in good option. Everything will be installed. Now you say next. Then you click on install. That's it. Not an issue, Nataraj, not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's it copied and installed everything for you.
Yeah, it's installing.
Yeah. So then it will say finish.
Yeah, it's installing.
Finish. Then close. Then close this window.
Yeah.
Everything closed. Okay. So
now CLI is installed in the RDB machine.
yeah. So this is just the installer package. So no, this is something I don't require.
Okay.
I just put it in recycle bin for now. Now it is installed. Now what we will do? We have to look for it. Correct. So how do we look? How will we start command line CMD?
Yes.
So you can use that Windows R button. You can say CMD.
Okay.
Correct? Or you can search here CMD. Then also you'll get the command prompt. One and the same. Okay. Come to the command line.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm in the administrator. Yeah.
Perfect. Now here just say AWS, right? And say -- help or something. What does it say? It is telling the uses, correct? Tell me,
Yes, sir. We got it.
you got the same message?
Yes.
AWS something hyphen version or something. Just try something. What does it say?
Yeah, it is showing same.
There is some more. So what? How to come out from that?
Q button you press. Q.
How to
Q.
come out? Control D.
Q.
End.
Q. Q.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cute. Okay.
Right. So you tried AWS help like this, right? So you were getting this more.
Yes.
Right. So just press Q. So
So all the
here,
AWS command line commands will work here.
yeah. So you can clear the screen CLS. So that AWS by default it will not be there in any of the machine, right? Now you got the AWS command here, right? Now using that command we can do various.
So is that developed with the Python script?
No, nothing like that. They have used that in the core they are using Python, that is there, and so that is like similar
Because
to
AWS version will say
yeah. So that is like in the
okay.
core in the backend they have it is developed by Amazon people only, right? So in the core they have they must have used that Python, but no, it is similar to your Linux commands actually.
Yeah.
Right. So they have no. So we will be looking at this CLI, right? However, what we need is certain concepts of IAM. Okay. Okay. So for configuring this AWS, right, CLI, we require certain what understanding of IAM. Okay. So what we will do, when you try to configure, right, there will be some commands like configure list like that. If you just see, it will say no profile is not set, access key is not there, secret key is not. So from anybody cannot access these services without the authentication, right? So that's the very first thing. You want to authenticate, then only once you are authenticated, you are authorized. Once you are authorized, then only you can use any service, right? So for that purpose, first thing is to understand what is access key, what is secret key, how to configure this, how to authenticate using command line, and then use the CLI. So what I will do, I'll just introduce you. Already IAM we were discussing yesterday. So I'll introduce you to IAM, right? And then we'll come back to this point. So for now, just we have done the installation of AWS CLI version 2 on Windows instance. So now we'll look at some AWS well-architected framework, IAM concepts, then CLI, configure AWS command line interface, and then create and manage S3 bucket through AWS CLI. So all these things we'll be doing just one by one. So let's come back to sign, right? Let's go one by one. Okay. So we'll come back to that point. Here, in this hands-on, we'll be doing this IAM hands-on and then CLI hands-on. Okay. So quickly, we'll switch from just keep that Windows instance running, right? So in parallel, we will learn the IAM concept, right? So before that IAM, right? Let's look at the well-architected framework. Okay. So you heard about this anytime? Anyone?
No.
No.
Usually, for any of the projects are built,
Yeah, there will
definitely
be
we need
certain
some.
best practices. Yeah. So same thing, right? So this is the best practice, architectural best practice for designing and operating reliable, secure, efficient, and cost-effective systems in the cloud. So maybe Dharma, maybe you can go and mute, right? You can go in mute and then no, when required you can unmute, right? So you just see this is architectural best practice for designing and operating reliable, secure, efficient, and cost-effective systems in the AWS cloud, right? So just like how we are constructing a building. So say like when you are constructing a building, so some best practices we will be using, right? We'll try to find out, right, what is the best practice for constructing a building. So until we have a knowledge, right, we cannot make a very strong building. So foundation needs to be very strong. That is the very first thing somebody will tell you. Okay, your foundation should be very strong. Make the strong. So to make the architecture of your software, right, or what the application that you are running in the cloud, you need to how you are designing the architecture. That is important. So the foundation is the architecture that you are going to design, right? So there will be some 5 pillars, right? Well architected framework, 5 pillars. So there are 5 pillars. How pillars are important, right? When you are constructing a building, similarly, these are the 5 pillars, right? For doing what? Architecting in the AWS cloud,
Okay.
right? So these are the 5 pillars. Operational excellence pillar, security pillar, reliability pillar, performance efficiency pillar, cost optimization pillar. So these are the 5 important pillars, right? So you need to understand the basics of it now and then use the same concept throughout our course. So that's why I'm introducing this in the beginning. You see here module 12 is written, right?
Yes.
So I'm just introducing you because what will happen based on this, right? We will be doing our course. So when you are trying to work with any particular service, when you are trying to configure that service, or when you are trying to run some application, so that time what all things should be there in your mind, from which angle you will be looking at it, right? These are the perspective through which you have to look at something, right? So first thing is the context and the perspective. Once you have the perspective, then whatever you are doing, that will be meaningful, right? So whatever services that we will be learning, right, look at them from these 5 perspective, right? From operational excellence perspective, right? So what would be that operational excellence? Just go by literal words. Operations,
Operations.
right,
Yes.
means some kind of you will have operations team, right? So you do the various day-to-day activity, right? So all those basic things, right? Whatever general activity that you are doing with the particular service, right, it should be the best one. You have to improve it, right? So how you are delivering, how you are offering the business value, right, that needs to be improved. How you can give better business, right? How you can do the daily operations, right, in a
Yeah.
efficient way. That is related to operational excellence. Getting bit understanding?
Yes.
Right? So whatever changes you require, right, or whatever something might fail, right, or so whatever operations that you are doing that might have failed, so from that you have to learn, right? So how you are tracking all those things, and then what are the best practices from the industry, so that we have to understand. Other people who have the experience in the cloud already, they are there in the cloud for last 5 years, so we have to learn from their experience, right? So how to get the particular outcome, how to get the better value. So we will have some white paper, some documents, right? So that I will share the link with you, right? So you will be able to look at it. So like that you have security pillar, reliability pillar, performance efficiency pillar, and cost optimization pillar. So let's look at this operational excellence pillar. Focuses on running and monitoring systems to deliver business values. So whatever systems, right? How to run those systems and know how to monitor those systems. Otherwise, you will not come to know what is failing, right? And what might fail, right? So we should have some insight, right? So that insight will come only when we monitor something, correct? So this is operational excellence pillar, main thing, right? Running and monitoring systems to deliver results. Continually improving processes and procedures. So whatever processes, whatever procedures that we are following in our daily business operations, that we try to improve, then look at it whether it has improved or not, and then again try to improve. So it's not like one time thing. Initially, when you are architecting in the very beginning, that time you have to focus on all those things, but it is just like continual thing, right? It's not like one time activity. So continuously you have to improve things. Automating changes, responding to events, and defining standards to manage daily operations, right? So whatever changes are there, right, you can try to automate if it is general thing, right? Repeated activity is there, so you can try to automate it. So with automation there will be less chances of errors, right? Some event happens, right? Some issue happens, some incident happens. So how you respond to it? So you should have certain process for that. Defining standards to manage daily operations. So it should not be like in a haphazard way. However, somehow it is going on. So okay, let's move on. Not like that. There should be some standards, right? There should be some system there, some systematic process should be there. So that needs to be followed, right? So that is operational excellence best practice, right? Look at the security thing. Most important, right? Security again.
Yes, yes.
So how operations is important, like that we have security, which is definitely the very basic and very important thing. So focuses on protecting information and systems. When you are putting something in the cloud, right? Yesterday just you saw that we were putting that in the S3, we were putting some object and there was option to make it block all public access and don't block, and 4 options and all those things were there, right? You remember?
Yeah.
Right? So when you are putting some confidential data in S3 and you are not blocking the public read access,
Yes.
other people also can read it, right?
Yes.
So that is when you are looking at the service, when we are discussing any particular service, that time you will focus, you will just think, oh, how can we make it secure? Is it secure, right? What will happen to this? So from security perspective, from operations perspective, you will find like, okay, how we can automate this? Can we automate this? So you are telling how like this, you click, and then you create the EC2 instance, right? So always we have to click and create the EC2 instance. How we can make it automatic? That question should come in your mind, right? From operations perspective. From security pillar perspective, right? What should come in your mind? Whether my information is
Public or private?
whether it is protected. Even if it is private, whether the password for that account, right, is shared with other people. Can they see? Can they log in here and they can see my information? Whether they are authorized for this? Shall I authorize or not? So all those things, right? We have to look at confidentiality and integrity of the data. So data should not be compromised, right? And whether it is confidential or public, right? Accordingly, we have to look at, and in different category we have to categorize the data. So we have to focus on the security mainly. Identifying and managing who can do what with privilege management. Who can do what? Whether it is relevant for you, then only you should have access to the data. If it is not relevant, it is not making any meaning, right? Why should I give the data to you, right? So if it is related, then only you should have the access. Otherwise, access should not be there. Privilege should not be there. Protecting systems and establishing controls to detect security events. Now, you saw your EC2 instance is having that firewall, correct?
Yes, yes.
That security group, and in that security group you have option like make allow everyone incoming access. That option was there.
Yes.
Did we choose that
Yes.
option? We didn't choose that option, right? What option we choose? We had chosen.
No, we didn't. No, we haven't chosen.
Which option we chose? My IP.
Yes. Source is my IP.
Yeah, my IP. Yes.
My IP. So that Dharma had chosen my IP, so that Nataraj cannot access his EC2 instance. Harish cannot access
custom.
his EC2 instance, right?
Yeah,
So if there is a need,
there's a custom anywhere my IP, right? So my IP.
correct. So you have chosen my IP. So if there is a need, if you want me to access your EC2 instance, right? If you want me to do some kind of work in your EC2 instance, right? So some kind of development you want me to do or something, then you will allow me, right? My IP also you will add one more line, you will add in the incoming traffic, right? In the inbound rule, you will add my IP also. Now
Yes.
one line you have added for your IP, one more line you will add for my IP, correct? No?
Yes.
If you want to give access to Nataraj also, then you will add his IP also. But at any point of time, will you allow entire world to access your EC2 instance? No, right?
No.
Understood?
No.
Correct? So
Yes.
who requires the access, right? So you have to protect your system and establish controls to detect security events. First thing is to protect, right? So one basic example you have seen, like using the firewall, using the security group, but there are other options. Many things are there, right? So we have to look at each and everything, right? From whatever services we are looking at, that service, how can we make it secure? That should come in our mind. How we can make it easy to operate? That was the operational pillar. Now security pillar is how we can make it secure, how we can keep our information secure, how we can keep our systems protected, and then establishing controls to detect security events. Now there should be some mechanism. Using that mechanism, you should be able to detect the problem related to security. Say like if I access your instance somehow, right, then you should get some alert. There should be some log, right? There should be some call or some kind of message or some mechanism that will alert you. You see, sometimes you access your own Gmail or something from some other device, you get some alert, right?
Yes, correct.
You have your account, your email has been accessed by that Firefox in that particular area, like that it comes, right?
Yes.
So like that, or sometimes you just get the OTP for connecting to your logging into your bank account, correct?
Yes.
So you have the various ways how you can protect it, how you can implement security, and then how you can detect it. Right? So there should be some monitoring, there should be some alerting mechanism, right? And then there should be some kind of logging, right? So who has done what? So all those features, all those things, from all those angles, we have to look at things, right? So that's why this security pillar. Now comes the reliability pillar, right? So whatever services, whatever solution, whatever architecture that you are designing, right, that should be reliable, right? The system should be reliable. So yesterday we were discussing about resilience.
Yes.
Right? So resilience means what? Something which is changed, right? Something which is deformed, something which is broken, right? It should come back to its shape immediately,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
how it will come? You should have some arrangement, right? So
Yes.
some service, whatever service you are offering to the customer, that should be reliable. It should quickly recover from the failure. So focuses on ensuring a workload performs its intended function correctly and consistently. So this particular reliability pillar will focus on whatever is your workload. Say like you are running a website. That website is accessed by say like 1,000 people across the globe. Now those 1,000 people, right, should be able to access your website at all times. It's not like today they are able to access and in the evening they are not able to access or something like that. So it should be always accessible, right, with the same speed and performance, right? So if you are running some 10 servers, right, behind those applications, and if one or two server goes down, what will happen? The performance will degrade, right?
Yes.
So your workload is running on 10 servers now, right? So if two servers or three servers or four servers are going down, so whatever is the intention, whatever is the intended function, it will not be consistent. It will not be perfect. Some feature might not be accessible. Some performance might be degraded. So all those things, right? That means your solution, your architecture is not reliable. It's not reliable. So whether it is reliable, how you can make it reliable, right? So that is the important thing, right? So that is discussed in this particular pillar. A resilient workload quickly recovers from failures to meet business and customer demand, right? So if any problem, any failure happens, right? So if one system is down, another system should immediately come up, right? So you should have some mechanism where your solution is reliable. You have one system only, say like you don't want to pay for many systems, right? So you have one system, that system, or you have only one system that goes down, then service will become unavailable only. So that's not good. Say like you have 10 systems. Now out of that 10 system, 2 system goes down. Still your services are available, correct? The performance will decrease little bit. As soon as it decreases, another 2 system, right, the fresh system should launch immediately, and that should take the control of the 2 broken system. Got my point?
Yes.
That means your solution is reliable. Got it?
Yeah.
Reliable, yeah.
You have to look from all those angles, and that should happen automatically. Maybe you are not there sitting all the time to get those 2 systems. So there should be some mechanism through which you can achieve that. So throughout our curriculum, throughout our training, we will be looking at all these aspects, right? But this context should be there in your mind to look at each and every service from these perspective. Distributed system design, recovery planning, how to handle change, right? So your system design should be distributed. It's like one server is here, another server is somewhere else,
Yes.
right? So your application is like not running on only one system,
Yes.
right? See, if your application is running on only one system, that system goes down, that's it, right? If your application is supporting the distributed design, that means your particular application is running on 10 systems. Let one or two systems go down, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. So the design should be distributed. You should plan for the recovery. There should be some mechanism where as soon as your system goes down, there should be some mechanism. Okay, this system has gone down. Some monitoring tool should be there. It will be monitoring, and immediately as soon as the system goes down, another system will come up. If entire availability zone goes, right, then also your application should be available. It should be running in some other availability zone.
Yes.
So you should think from all those angles, right? How to handle the situation, how to handle the failure, how to handle the problem. So that is reliability. How reliable is your solution? Now comes the performance, right? So definitely, once your system is your operations are good, your secure system is there, and then you have the reliability, and then performance is also important, right?
Yes.
If it is very slow or something, people will not even browse your website, or they will not even look at your application, right?
Not a, yeah.
Right, so they will be tired. It's so slow. Okay, so why we use any particular solution today, right? Because it is, nobody has time nowadays, right? So if something is slow, the end user will be frustrated, right? So they will go to some other
Yes.
business, leave your business only, right? So performance is very important. So focuses on using IT and computing resources efficiently, selecting the right resource types and sizes based on workload requirements. So based on the workload requirement, focuses on using IT and computing resources, right? So how efficiently we are using our computing resources. We were discussing about virtualization, the consolidation and the utilization. You saw, right? So how we can efficiently use our resources. You saw that in traditional thing, we had some 4 servers, and were those servers used efficiently initially before virtualization?
Yeah.
You remember yesterday's example? Some 15%, 10%, 20%, 30% the servers
Yes.
were
Yes.
getting utilized,
Yes.
right? So you invested,
Yes.
you had enough money, right? You invested, but what was happening? Your resource was getting wasted only, right? And another server might be 100% utilized. Another server at the same
Yes.
time, 4 servers are getting underutilized, and one server might be there in your data center which was like 200% utilized, right? So everything would be hanging there. Now you should have a solution, right, where you will look at the performance of your systems and the utilization of your resources, and make necessary changes to keep the performance efficient. Selecting the right resource types, sizes based on the workload. Now if you require a website for only 2 people, right, and then you just put 5 servers, right, for that, it will not make any sense, right? So
Yes.
if you are how much is the requirement, what is the workload, so that you have to do the calculation. So you should understand, right, what yesterday you saw T2 micro we chose, right, for Windows. T2 micro, 1 vCPU, right?
Yes.
1
Yes.
GB
Yes.
RAM, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
Apart from that, you might
Yes,
have
that's a
seen
free time.
there were different instance types also, where there might be 20 GB RAM, right? 50
Yeah.
vCPUs, correct? So you can have
Yes.
different size of the system, different types of the instance, where it may be very huge system for distributed application running over the internet scale application, right? So there you require very heavy, very large, huge machine, right? So but for some small purpose, just require some small machine only, that is more than enough. See, for our practical purpose, this T2 micro is enough, so we are doing it, right? We are not going for very huge machine and paying unnecessarily paying for it. So performance means selecting the right resource types. It's not like getting the very huge machine and very good performance you get. No, business will go bankrupt, right? They don't focus, because another one, next pillar, you will understand that. So selecting the right resource types and sizes based on workload requirement. Whatever is the workload, focus on the workload. Think what they want to do, how many end users, what they want to do, those end users, what are the time they are going to access it, when they want it, more systems, sometimes they want less systems. So you might have heard about this, our railway reservation you have done through IRCTC. Anybody? Railway use trains Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Harish, I think I lost audio.
Yes, yes. I think for last, I think some seconds, I couldn't even hear Harish.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like no some internet slowness might be there. I just saw some
Okay.
message, for the slowness. So please let me know if you know face any issue. So I was telling, no,
I thought my audio connection, but I think it's
it
yours.
was mine actually. I saw some message here in the screen.
I
Said
think it's
you.
okay now. Yeah.
It's okay now, right? Okay, perfect. So
Harish,
yeah, at any point of time, if you lose my audio or connectivity, you please call Devashish, right? And he'll contact me, right? And meanwhile, if as soon as I notice, I'll reconnect using another backup internet connection. Okay. So
okay.
you have any question,
Okay.
Natras?
No.
Okay. So audible right now? Now I'm audible correctly? Hello. Okay, so here it's selecting the right resource types and sizes based on the workload requirements. So say like in IRCTC, did you ever book any railway ticket?
Tatkal. Yeah, we have done.
Tatkal ticket or something, right? So you found it challenging.
Yes.
Very pathetic.
Yeah. So what happens that time, right? So though they came up with lot of best solutions, still it is challenging many times, right? So
Yes.
they have all those features. So what they do is like say like for a particular time, say like between 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever is the time. So that time lakhs of users will be connected to the website, lakhs of users, and maybe at other times there may be only thousands of users, correct?
Yes.
And suddenly at one point of time there will lakhs of users. Now
Yes.
just think, if they just go for lakhs of users workload, if they go with that, right? So think how much money they will be wasting. Only for 2 hours they have lakhs of users. Remaining time they have hundreds or thousands of users only. But they
Yes.
have to make
Yes.
arrangements for the workload of lakhs of people, correct?
Yes.
How much unnecessary investment they will do, right?
Yes.
Correct. So what will be the solution? Going in the cloud. Whenever there is no heavy workload requirement, that time you get thousands of servers, correct? And then after those 2 hours, reduce those thousands of servers to hundreds of servers. Understood?
Yes.
For 2 hours,
Yes, sir. It's
you launched 1000 instance for 2 hours. Then
Yes.
as soon as the load decreases, right, based on the workload, reduce the number of servers to only 10. That is
Yeah.
possible in cloud. Understood? So you have to focus on the performance, right? And you have to focus on the size and the workload. So all those things are very important. All those things should be there in your mind when you are trying to architect any solution for any organization, right? For any business, right? So this performance, that should always be there in your mind. Otherwise, say like if people are not able to connect to your website, then how will you be running your business? Correct. Monitoring performance, making informed decisions to maintain efficiency as business needs evolve. Now you should be monitoring your performance. How will you come to know that no, you are giving a very good performance or something? You should monitor it, right? The utilization, the performance of your system, right? And make informed decisions. So you should be aware before something breaks. You should be knowing that my system is 75% utilized or 95% utilized, and tomorrow, no morning, it might not work. So you should make proper arrangement, right? Maintain the efficiency as business needs evolve. So your business needs might increase or change or something. So accordingly, you should have the solution in your mind. Last but not the least, right? The fifth one, what is that? Cost. Important, right?
Yes.
Very important, right?
Yes, correct.
So all these 5 things are actually pillars. All of them are important, right? All of them are important, right? So for somebody, security might be more important. For someone, performance might be more important. For some people, cost doesn't matter, but eventually, it will also matter because you are doing business for gaining something, right? So that should also happen, right? You should not put all your money in the infrastructure and then you don't have money for anything else. Now, cost optimization focuses on avoiding unnecessary cost. So if you start wasting your money, so even if you are kuber, right, one day you will become bankrupt, correct? So you
Yes.
should not unnecessarily waste your money, right? Just use it, right? And give the proper justice, do the proper justice for that. So whatever is needed, there you spend. Wherever
Yeah.
it is not needed unnecessarily, why we spend? Say like you don't require the EC2 instance to be running, right, for entire week. Now we have session now and then next week, right? So in between you want to practice for say like 2 hours or 4 hours, right? Tomorrow or day after, and then 2 days you don't want to practice. So if you just keep your EC2 instance running, that means you are wasting your money, right? Now that you have got the free tier, if it is not a free tier, it is just for an year, right? If it is a real business, so there you will be paying for it, correct? So if it is
Yes.
not required, will you shut it down or you will keep it running? Shut it down, right?
No, shut down.
Yeah. So that is just one small, very small example, right? For focusing on avoiding unnecessary cost. If it is not necessary, don't waste money on that. So you have to know until you understand, right, where you are wasting your money, right? You will not be able to save it. So you have to do analysis where my money is going, right? So you should have a track of it. You should understand. So understand and control where money is being spent. Very basic thing, even in our real life, not only for this cloud or AWS or something. If we don't know, right, where our money is going, right, so always we will be running short of money, right? Whatever money we get, right, that will be always challenging to manage things. So we should control it. We should understand where it is going, then only we can manage it properly and optimize it. Selecting the most appropriate and right number of resource types. What is most appropriate? So in previous thing we were just looking at right resource types. Again, you see the sequence, consequence here related to that is most appropriate and right number of resource types. How many servers do you need? Which server is most appropriate? How many CPUs do you really require? How much of RAM do you really require? How much storage do you really require? Very huge storage, you got 5 terabyte and now you're keeping 500 MB data in that. So unnecessarily you have paid for 5 terabyte storage and now you're keeping 500 MB data, right? So is it making any sense? No, right? So like that, you should have most appropriate and right number of resources. Analyzing spend over time and scaling to meet business needs without overspending, right? So you should analyze how much you are spending over the time. Say like in last 6 months, right, where did you do the expense, right? So in last 1 month, what was the expense? Last 1 year, what you have done? So over time, right, maybe this week what was more? So like that you should do analysis of whatever bills are coming. Say like electricity bill is coming every month, it is coming like 1,000 rupees. 1 month it came 2,000 rupees, right? Is it not alarming?
Yeah.
Alarming, right? Why
Yeah.
it is happening like that? How 2000 can come. Let's find it out. So like that, we have to analyze, do analysis. Every month it was like 1000 rupees. Why that month it became 2000 rupees? So that question should come in our mind, right? So we'll have detailed billing available, right, in the AWS cloud, right? So we have to look at it and we have to analyze it. We will have tools to create budgets and explore the costs, right? And scaling to meet business needs without overspending. So you have to scale it up or down, right, based on the requirement without overspending. You should not do overspending. Decrease the cost, right, or increase the cost based on the need. You need it, you do it, right? So you are getting understanding, right? The well architected framework,
Yes. Yes.
right? So
Yes.
so that is
Yeah.
for now, but keep this keep this revised. Just look for well architected after the session, right, when you get chance. So just look for this AWS well architected framework. Look at these 5 pillars. Keep this in your mind, right? These 5 things you just note down somewhere. You just keep it always handy, right? And then look at everything, whatever we are going to discuss from these 5 angles. Okay, so that's why I brought this in the beginning. Okay, so I just try to optimize the curriculum, right? I keep changing, right? What is more important, more relevant according to the need, right? According to the use. Curriculum remains the same. See, this module 5 thing I'm just discussing, right? So at the end of the session, you will find that everything we have covered, but whatever is needed, wherever it is needed, so accordingly I have rearranged according to the batches, according to the audience, according to the participants' requirements. I'll be just doing the modifications, right? So at any point of time, right, you find any difficulty, like if I'm not getting or something, so just let me know, right? Now, so we have a concept of IAM and few things we will be revisiting, right? So that you will have better understanding. Say like IAM, identity and access management. You heard about this term earlier? IAM?
Yeah, we had. Yeah, we had in our. Yeah, we had.
Organization.
Not AWS, even. Yeah, an organization we have. Yes.
You have it, right? So this is like identity
That's
and
mainly for user
management. For user management, right? Nataraj, you have this concept in your organization? Say like
No.
you forget your password. Whom do you approach?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know it's not working for you. Like some kind of server you are not able to access. Your password
Yes.
maybe having some problem, or you want new user ID created for some server.
Yes.
New server has come. You don't have your access there. Right, so you want some kind of access, you want some kind of thing related to user management, so you go to IAM team, right? So IAM
Yes.
team is like identity and access management. Same thing here, it comes as a service, right? So everything is same in AWS, is like, or any cloud, is nothing like no rocket science or nothing exceptional. Everything whatever we are doing, right, in the traditional environment, that only comes here as a virtual environment, right, and accessible over the internet. Same thing. So never think that it is very big thing or something, otherwise you might find it difficult. So right, so just understand this is the same thing. Now a web service that helps us to securely control access to AWS resources. So now that we have all the resources, right, now there should be some mechanism to control the access. Now we were looking at security pillar, right? How to protect the data, right? So just think from that aspect, right? So there should be some mechanism to give the access only to the people who are relevant for that particular information or data, right? So this is a service which helps with that. Shared access to AWS account. What does it give? You have AWS account. You created one AWS account yesterday, right?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
you want to grant some permission
Yes.
to one of your developers or
Yeah.
one of your user administrator or to one of your database administrator, right? You have
Yes.
your account, you are owning the business, you are the administrator there, or you are the owner there. Now you want to grant some permission to some person, some different permission to different person, right? So what you will do, you will for the same resource, you can give one
Yes.
kind of permission to one person, another kind of permission, somebody you will give delete permission, somebody will give create permission. So you can do all those things, but it is kind of shared access. So the access
Yeah.
now you are using only as a root, you are logging everything, you will not do, right? Now it is a kind of shared access to your AWS account. Other people can also access your AWS account based on what? Certain password. Just now, from where we came to this point was the CLI that we installed, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So we installed CLI, and then from there we have come here just because we cannot simply access our resources. So there should be some mechanism through which we access our resources, right? So there should be some shared access to our account, right? So for that purpose, some user should be there, some kind of key should be there, right? Through which we will be connecting, right? So for that, we are understanding this shared access to person. Now you see granular permissions.
Yes.
Granular means what? Different permission for different people. Granular depend on the requirement. Say like some person requires access to S3, but he doesn't require no access to EC2.
Yes.
Another person requires access to EC2 but not to S3.
Yes.
Kind of granular permission means for each resource, right? You can define who should have the access, or for a person where he should have the access. So we can grant different permission to different people, right? For different resources.
Yes.
Different permission to different people for different resources. So that is granular. Integrated with AWS services. What does it mean? Integrated means what?
With other system or other, yeah, it is basically with other system, third-party system or something like that.
Yeah. So integrated means
No, no,
attached.
I think this
Attached.
is, no,
Attached to the service.
I
Yeah,
think
tell
this
me.
is with,
What do you think, Dharma?
I
Yeah.
think integrated with AWS service. AWS service means like, see, yesterday we have launched a Windows server, maybe like similarly we have maybe database instances. So like
Yes.
that, it can be integrated with for multiple services, right?
Yes.
Grant
Yes. Yes.
permissions like that.
Correct. Correct. So it's like integrated with AWS services means it's like your user, say like you're creating one user, so that your service, say like EC2 or your S3 or your database or something, they will understand this user. Understood? Those services will know this user. This is you have created in IAM, right? But those services will be familiar with this. So that is integration. So it is like you don't have to create another user for EC2, another user for S3, and one more user for database, one more user for something. It's not like that. So the same user, right? You have some user created in IAM. Now your services will understand, right? That this is the user whom I should give the access, right? So that particular user is known to each and every services. So it's integrated with each and every services that is running in AWS. Understood, Nataraj?
Yes, Harish. Yes.
Yeah. So most of the services, right? Most of the AWS services, I would say, right? With some exceptions, right? So most of the AWS services can be controlled by AWS security. Okay. Now, free to use.
Sir, as a small clarification, see, like
Tell me, Dharma.
this all will be go with the security group, right? So from that only that will be attached to this AWS services. So which user, I mean, which IAM user should be access to this particular AWS service, like a Windows server or Linux server or maybe database, something else. So these services should be accessed by which IAM user. So if you have, yeah, that should be attached right to the service. That's my first question.
See, all the services are understanding this user. Now you should give the permission. There should be some permission. There should be some policy. There should be some access. Say like now we'll create some user, and then we will attach some policy. We'll give some permission to that user, that this user should be part of that group. This user should be able to do this or that. This user can have access to database. This user can have access to that EC2 instance. So those things we need to configure. That is there, but that particular service will understand, right? This user is IAM user. So it is integrated. You don't have to do certain specific thing with respect to for that service to understand this user. So it's not like that. Say like your Windows instance or something you are creating, right? So you are creating some user in that machine, right? User add something, or in Linux machine you are creating that user at command, or Windows machine you are creating some user for some service, you are creating some user for database. Oracle, you want to log in, you create some user in that database, right? Here it's like kind of central user that you create, and then whatever permission you grant, that it can access, right? So the permission needs to be granted, but the user, you don't have to create different users for different things. Same user you create, now you can grant permission. That's it. So permission needs to be granted. Got it? Dharma, you got it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see all those things. We'll be doing it, right? So we'll do multiple hands-on, and we'll, for each and every services we will be looking at it. So practically when we do, we have better clarity. Now it is just like you are doing some imagination, right? So some kind of theoretical concept, and then once we do it, so you will have solid knowledge. Now you just look at this free to use. We are not charged, right? For what? Creating a user. We are not charged for creating a group. We are not charged for creating some kind of policy, right? So you can create some user, you can just do some kind of user management, everything you can do. You will not be charged for that. Only you will be charged for accessing the resource. So like you have some kind of S3 resource, you are creating some user, using that user you are accessing S3. For that S3 you have to pay, not for that user. Why you created that user, now you pay 5 rupees. Nothing like that. Got my point? Yeah. So that is free to use means that here with respect to IAM, not like with respect to AWS. Controlled access per region. Dharma, is that clear? Controlled access per region.
I mean, as per the region also we can able to control the access.
Yes. So this user should have access only.
Yes, sir. Actually.
Yeah. Tell me. Got it, Dharma? You understood this? Nataraj got it.
Yes, sir.
Same thing.
It's per region. So which region this user will be accessed? So region-wise access granting.
Yes, you can control. You want to grant the user access only to Mumbai region, and then you have different regions also. You have EC2 running in some Ohio region and Mumbai region. You want to grant access only for Mumbai region, so you can do that. You can control it. So feature, like different features of IAM. Okay. Multi-factor authentication.
Okay.
We are using multi-factor authentication anywhere?
Multi-factor.
Yeah. Any RSA token or some kind of
Okay.
mobile related.
Yeah, got
I
it.
think we have in the EC2 also we have the security is the inbound rule, right? And open rule is also there.
So we will use one is RSA token or something token.
You know, right?
And
Multi-factor
other
you
one
have
is
used.
password. Yeah.
So
Yeah, got it.
yeah, so similar to that, no, how you use in your daily lives for even for Gmail or something, there is a multi-factor authentication enabled. I have enabled it. So I try to give password, then something will come in my mobile. I touch it, then only it will give me access.
Okay, like another passcode.
One
for
more,
double
yeah,
verification.
one more security mechanism. Because even if my password is hacked for my Gmail, you cannot access my Gmail. Some OTP
Yeah,
will
it's
come.
there for all, even for online, for all online transactions, banking transactions, we are getting OTP. So even though if you give password, you still get OTP. So that is also
Correct.
multi-factor. Right?
Correct. The same thing. Multi-factor authentication.
I think
So
this
not
multi-factor means this is a multi-level authentication, right?
multi-level authentication, multi-layer of authentication. Correct. Multiple layer of authentication. So same thing, exactly same thing. Everything same. What is in our real life, same thing. So that all those features are there. So this is multi-factor authentication. So what will happen? Some kind of hardware or software devices will be there, and you can implement one additional layer of security. Okay? So additional code will come, OTP will come, and then only it will become successful. Right? Now, some keywords are there, right? So it might seem kind of complicated. However, when you start looking at it, right, it will become easier. So just try to pay little attention, and then no worries if you have any confusion, right? So practically when we do it, you will have better clarity. So for now, just I will try to explain slowly, just focus here. So how we have resources, say like EC2 instance, you are there. In EC2 instance, you have CPU as a resource, memory as the resource, hard disk as the resource, right? In your laptop, you have some resource, right? So like that, right? For human resources, what? People are the resource. So similarly, for IAM, what will be the resource? User will be the resource. Just think from IAM perspective. Identity and access management, this is service. Just think from this service perspective, what will be their resource for this service? User will be a resource, correct? Group will be a resource. Like that, you have some concept of role and policy, right? So user, you create group, you create role, you create policy, right? So these things, whatever things are stored in the IAM, because IAM means working with user, working with creating group, creating role, using, attaching the policy. So these are the things, these are the resources from IAM perspective. Clear? Resource means you understood for IAM?
Yes.
Right? Don't think of general resource.
Yeah.
Think from IAM resource. So IAM resource means user, group, role, and policy are the resources for IAM. Now look at identities. IAM resource objects that are used to identify and group, right? So what we can do, so these resource objects, right, that are used to identify and group. So identity means what we can do there, we can attach a policy to IAM identity, right? So user, group, and roles are there. User, group, and role, these three things are there, right? And this is the permission. Policy means permission. Now you can attach the policy to user, you can give the permission to group, you can give the permission to role. So attaching of policy to user, group, or role, right? So that will be to the identity. So IAM resource objects that are used to identify and group. So your user, group, and role, we call it as identity. So I'm just introducing you this term. Somewhere if you find that, okay, it is written as identity or something, so then you should not get confused. So identity means the user, group, or role to which policy can be attached, right? So user, group, and role. Identity means user, group, and role. Entity, what is entity? IAM resource objects used by AWS for authentication. So resource objects from here only, right? That is used for what? Authentication. So what is used for authentication? Some user ID, right?
Yeah.
So whatever user using that, no, you try to log in, you try to access something using the user. So the user, right? These IAM users, right? Or some kind of Nataraj was telling some third-party user also, right? So maybe some third-party user, federated user, we call it. So some third-party user integration also is possible. So some existing user or something. So those users also, right, will be called as entity or the role. So I'll be showing you how to use the role, right? So that role also will be called as entity. So any kind of user, whether it is IAM user or federated or third-party user or some kind of assumed IAM role, so that role also will be called as entity. Principal. What will be the principal? A person or application that can make request to AWS. Got it?
Yeah.
So any user, any person, right? Or any application also. Say like S3, right? S3 or maybe EC2, right? Or any kind of application or any kind of service, right? That can make a request for something else. So what will be the principal, right? Any application or any person who is requesting for any particular operation, particular action on any of the resource. Right? Now it will be authenticated using root user or IAM user.
Yeah.
Right? No, there should be some authentication mechanism. So if you are requesting for something, now we'll be seeing how we are using that CLI. We'll be requesting for some access to some services, right? So there we will see how we are making a request to AWS for what we are making. We want to create a bucket or something. So there how our application will be requesting for a particular resource. Right? We want to get something from the bucket or something. So like that we will try to access the bucket. We want to put some file. We want to get some file from the bucket. So any person or application that can make request to AWS resource. Now policy, as we were discussing, policy means permission. An entity that when attached to an identity or resource, right? So an entity means any kind of object or something. An entity that when attached to an identity or resource defines their permission. So we were discussing here, we will be attaching the what policy to identity. IAM resource objects that are used to identify and group, right? So here this similar thing, an entity that when attached to an identity or resource. So it can be attached to identity or a resource. Means policy can be attached to identity. Means policy can be attached to user. Policy can be attached to group. Policy can be attached to role. Policy can be attached to any resource, right? So attaching something and then defining their permission. So we saw that as Dharma was telling, we'll have user should have access to certain service, right? So for that we need to do something, we need to define something, right? So this is the policy. Based on the policy only you will have access to something. So you have to define whether this user should have that access, whether this user should have this access. Only if the user has access, then the user can have the can use the resource, right? So for that policy is very important. What is role?
Harish, we lost your audio.
Oh,
Yeah, now it is okay.
Dharma, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Yes.
Okay, so this policy is not what entity which can be attached to any user group or role, right? And it will give the permission, right?
Yeah.
So identity means user group or role, right? So now what will happen? Whatever policy, whatever permission that you have given, AWS will be evaluating that, right? So it will, some person is trying to request for certain resource. Now what is the policy? Based on that only access will be allowed or denied. Now comes the role, right? So what is role? We discussed here role in this identity. So role is provides temporary access to AWS resources, but only after the role is linked to an IAM user account. So what is a role? Just think.
Role is temporary access.
Temporary access. You don't want to give permanent access, right? So in that case, you just think of a role, right? So role will be user is say like whatever IAM user account is there, so that will be assigned to one particular person, right?
Yes.
Now role will be assigned to whosoever needs it. Maybe here no password or something will be there in the role. There won't be any password, right? No access key or something. So there won't be any access key. There won't be any password concept, right? So temporary security credential will be given for a particular session, right? For time being, right? So we will be looking at it. So you will understand that. Right? And action, as the name suggests, a specific operation the principal wants to perform on a resource, right? So any particular action we want to perform on the resource, right? So that will be what?
Action.
Action. You want to delete something, you want to create something, you want to change something, right? So we'll look at authentication and authorization, and then we will have take a break, and then we'll do hands-on, right? So authentication and authorization, two very important things, right? So any idea what is authentication, what is authorization? Authentication is what? Verification.
Yes.
Right? So authentication is the process to verify who is that user. Correct?
Yes.
Right? So user must be authenticated using some credentials, right? If you want to get some access, right, to any resource, first thing is to get the authentication done,
Yes.
right? So it needs to verify that, okay, this is the right user. Now comes the authorization. Once the authentication,
That's user ID and password, right? That we can say it's authentication.
yeah, you give user ID and password, you are authenticated. It will check, okay, fine, this is a particular person, correct person only, right? So user is very authenticated. Now authorization.
Yeah.
If you want to access some of the web page or something, if you are not able to go ahead, so that is the authorization problems, something like that.
Authorization
if you are authorized,
means,
then only you can access a particular service. If you
yes.
are not authorized, then you cannot access it.
So
Like what we tried in the authentication, when we try Google, right, it's blocked. So we have changed it, and then it was working.
Correct. So see, authentication means simply you logged in.
Yeah.
Simply you logged in, right? You got authenticated. Okay, you are the genuine user. You got authenticated. Now after you logged in, right? Say like once you are logged in, then what you will do? You will try to do something with some resource, right?
Yes.
So say like once you are authenticated, right? For some resource, right? You will have some kind of permission. Say like you want to delete that resource. Say like EC2 instance is there. You can have permission to delete it. You can have permission to create one new EC2 instance. You can have permission to modify the EC2 instance, right?
Yes.
From S3 perspective, you just think you can create one file. You have permission, then you can create one file, or you can create one bucket in S3 if you have the permission. If you have the permission, you can delete it. So you may have a permission to create it, but you may not have permission to delete it. Understood?
Yes.
So you are authorized for what? In the office premises, once you get into the office building, can you enter each and every room in that office?
No.
Some room you are authorized, some rooms you are not authorized, right?
Yes. Correct. Correct.
So authorization means, right, do you have the authority to do a particular action? So
Yes.
authorization is the process to verify what kind of access the user is having. What kind of access? So in this process, they will use values from the context of the request, right? What they are looking for. You are requesting for deleting the bucket or creating the bucket. Now that is the context. So that context will be taken, right? And then it will be matched in the permission, in the policy that we were discussing. So in the policy, it will check. Oh, this person is not authorized to delete the bucket, only authorized to create the bucket, right? Now, then message will come, you are not authorized, right? So your access will be denied. Got it? So
Yep.
explicitly, right, allow is required. Only if it is allowed explicitly, right, it will be written that, okay, you are allowed here, then only you can access it. A particular operation, it should be explicitly allowed, then only you can access. If it is explicitly denied, then what will happen? You will not be allowed. If somebody writes that you are not authorized here, that's it. You will not get the access. If it is written, yes, you are allowed here, so you will get the access. If it is not mentioned, then what? Tell me. If it is not mentioned, then what?
Sorry, Harish, I just lost connection. Yeah, repeat your question, please.
Yeah, Dharma, am I audible to you, or you also?
I mean, it's my internet issue.
Okay, no problem. So in the
Yes,
policy,
yes, you're audible. You're audible.
okay, perfect. So what happens, right?
I mean, you are asking some question, right?
Yeah, in authorization, I was asking, right? If we are allowed, right? If it is written that, okay, you are allowed here, then
Yes.
you will get the access.
Yes.
If it is written you are not allowed,
Then we
then you
need
will not get the access.
Yes.
If it is not written, nothing is written.
Okay.
Then what will happen?
We need to get the access.
It will authorize you?
No.
No. So that only we have to understand. If it is explicitly allowed, you will get the access. If it is explicitly denied, you will not get the access. If it is not mentioned, nothing is mentioned, you will not get the access. Got it?
Yeah.
So that is how policy works. So we'll be looking at it, right? So we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back.
Sure.
And then we will do hands-on for this IAM, whatever we are learning. So we'll just try to implement it.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll just set the
Okay.
timer. I'll stop the recording and set the timer, and we'll meet after the break.